Okay. Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam. Shruti-smriti-purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad-pada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, here I am. So, welcome everyone to now a new chapter, a new session on continuing with our study of the Bhagavad Gita. By now, we don't need much introduction as to why the study is helpful. It is pure knowledge about one's own nature, and that nature is aprathyaksham. Aprathyaksham means it is not something that you can see. You cannot know as an object of knowledge. You can know about objects, but you cannot know about yourself as an object. You cannot keep yourself on one side and then keep yourself on the other side and then say, oh, now I know myself. It can't be done. I am the very object of my own knowledge. I am the subject and I am the object of my knowledge. In such a tricky situation, in such a subtle situation, where you are the subject, means you are the knower, and you are the object, which means you are to be known. You are the object of knowledge. In both these situations, being one, the subject and the object, it is virtually impossible to know yourself, because every time you try to know yourself by yourself, you will try to objectify yourself, and that's not possible. So everything you know about yourself as an individual, as an object, that individual and object is just pertaining to something which is not you. If you know about yourself, one of the Shastras says, one of the Upanishad says, if you can say I am this, You are not that. Everyone, please mute yourselves. The sound is echoing. So, when you say that I am an individual, this individual that you know about, say I am asked, who are you? And you say, this is my name, I am Deepti. And then obviously the teacher says, that's your name. Who are you? You say, oh, okay. I am a lady. I'm a girl. Oh, that's your gender. Who are you? Oh, okay. I am an Indian. Ah, that's your nationality. Who are you? Oh, I'm a physio. Ah, that's your occupation, profession. Who are you? Oh, I am a wife. Oh, that's your status. Who are you? Oh, I am a daughter. Again, your relation. Who are you? Oh, you think hard. We saw this in Upadesha Sahasri, not Sar. Upadesha Sahasri is another text. We'll hopefully see it soon sometime. Once again. In that, the student goes on answering, and the teacher goes on saying, Neti, Neti. That's not you. The dharmas that you are calling as yourself, these dharmas don't belong to you. You are distinct from those dharmas. So after a long thinking, the student says, I say I'm 5 feet something. Ah, that's the height of the body. Who are you? Oh, I'm fair. I'm dark. Oh, that's the color of the body. That's not your color. That's not your height. That's not your nationality. That is not your dharma. That is not your religion. Who are you is the only question that entire Veda brings us to acknowledge first and then probe in a very systematic way to come to know the process, how to arrive at this thinking where I am being the subject. I'm also able to know who I am through negation of all that I think I am. If I say I'm kind, I interact in the world, I feel a sense of subtle pride, I feel a sense of subtle goodness about myself because I am a good human being. Whose qualities are those? The shortness and the tallness, the fairness and the darkness, the thinness and the not so thinness, they are all of the body. Oh, yes, I begin to see that. But if I say I'm kind, I'm not so kind, I get angry, I'm compassionate, I'm not, etc., etc. Now, whose dharmas are these? Because they and me seem to be one. I am this. You'll argue with the teacher back and say, but I am this. You don't know me. But I am a kind person. I am a good person. You don't know me. But I am so. You can't know me. I don't mind if you think I'm not so. But I know I am so. And the teacher literally, sir pakad ke will say, I'm asking you to think. I'm not saying you're not kind, but I'm asking you to think. Are these your qualities? Is this you? Or is it something that you can know? You have known. You are the one who knows that you are kind. If you think you know that you are kind, that knowledge that you are kind is also not you. It is about you, but it is not you. That dharma of kindness or anger or whatever else we may say, Where does that belong? To whom does it belong? Where is its location? It's your mind. You say, no, I'm a student of Vedanta. I am the seeker of truth. I am a jignasu. I am a mumukshu. Wonderful. I'm a sadhak. Very good. Very, very good. You have grown out of saying I am short and tall and good looking and not so good looking to at least you grew up to say I'm kind and not so kind or etc. Now you have at least grown to appreciate that yes, I'm a sadhak, I'm a mumukshu, etc. Wonderful, but is that you? I am this. When you say that what we have attached ourselves to, which looks like one, it looks like two sides of a coin. One can't exist without the other. The I cannot exist without those qualities, and those qualities have absolutely no independence of existence without the I. Then the question is, who is this I? The entire Vedic Shastra is in a way of helping a mind, a jiva, let me put it this way, helping a jiva, an individual, to slowly start appreciating that yes, the I that I refer to as me, me, is actually not even a thought. It cannot be thought about. It is not a state of thinking. If you say, I think I am this, I know I am this, this is knowledge of the thoughts. That knowledge of your thought, at the level of thought, that knowledge is objective knowledge. It will always be limited. Limited to what? Limited to the upadhi. Upadhi means your external covering, your external um, encasement, your external identification, what you've identified with. That upadhi, as the upadhi, so your knowledge. If I am a girl upadhi, I don't have an erroneous knowledge that I'm not a girl. If I am a fair person or not so fair person, I don't have an erroneous knowledge about it. It's an objective knowledge. It's an objective knowledge of as is. यथार्थ ज्ञान है. जैसे गुण है वैसा ज्ञान है. मगर वो ज्ञान, that knowledge pertains to the qualities of the body and the mind and the intellect, the buddhi. When it says, I want to know, I'm a mumukshu, I'm a sadhak, it has come about because of acute discernment of what is that which must be higher, towards which I must pursue, and I put in all the efforts, right efforts towards that. That's a sadhak. This process of negating the dharmas and placing them back into where they belong and not imposing upon one's I-ness, existence. मैं हूं, मैं जो हूं का अनुभव है, that experience of my existence, I am not covering it up by layers of different conclusions about myself. Those self conclusions that I have are all upadhi based knowledge. वो ज्ञान उपाधि से limited है. Which means if I am 5 feet something, I am not going to say I am 6 feet something or 4 feet something unless and until I really have some error in my very means to know. Means to know means my sense of perceptions, ज्ञानेंद्रिय. अगर उसमें मुझे दोष है कोई, तो I may have a faulty knowledge. But if my jnanendriyas are functioning, I cannot have a wrong knowledge about the object. But that that knowledge about the object, is it parallel to? Is it equal to? Is it equivalent to? Is it the same as my quality? The minute you say my quality, there is an error there. My and quality, if I am going to separate them, if I see them as two, my quality, that means that my quality cannot be me. That my quality is not me. So, there is a lot of preparation, eligibility, as Shastra puts it. There is a lot of inner eligibility to come to appreciate that this subject has absolutely no layer on it. No layer of thought can be possible on this. This is self existent, self evident truth about my own being, and that I am. Not knowing this means I can have endless layers, and that is samsara. Endless layers means in this janma I find myself in a woman upadhi, girl upadhi, so I say I'm a woman. Next janma I may find myself in a in a in a bird upadhi. If I find myself in a bird upadhi, I'll I won't have the knowledge that I am a girl. My upadhi based knowledge is all that I limit my knowledge to. And that entirely Shastra says is negatable, is correctable, is not you, in other words. So that eligibility to own up who I am without these layers, that eligibility, Shastra says, in a large canvas, it has looked at our life. In fact, the fourth chapter is going to come to all these details that I'm laying the background for. He says, in that large canvas, the Jiva is Anadi, Atma is Anadi, Jiva is Anadi. This Anadi means, whereas if I'm Atma, why do I not know that I'm Atma? Why am I believing myself to be this name and form? Why am I holding this knowledge as real? Because it is almost countering my intuitive knowledge that I am a person. And Shastra says you are not a person. It's almost making me believe that what I know as firm knowledge, it says this is not your real nature. This aspect of attention drawing to your nature, one's own nature, through that large canvas, because you're Anadi, as long as yourself is not known without these layers of thoughts upon yourself, so long you are a traveler. I'll put it this way. Samsari means you're a traveler. You cannot stay forever in one place. In time, space, and causation, you are a traveler because of these three parameters that limit you. Time, space, and causation are the ones that are defining your limitation. If you are here, you cannot be there. If you are now here, you are not there then. And whatever you are is because of certain cause in the past. The effect is seen today. Whatever you do today is the cause of an effect tomorrow. You will have to experience it. This makes us a traveler. We are an eternal traveler. That eternal traveler has only every travel in any form. The antakaran, where this jivatvam impression is there, the jivatvam gyan is there, that I am this individual based on this upadhi. That gyan, erroneous gyan, that gyan makes us, what was I saying? Makes us keep doing things, perpetuating a cycle, and that perpetuation of a cycle strengthens this jiva buddhi. Jiva Gyan. Jiva Buddhi, Jiva Gyan, same. Jiva Buddhi, Jiva Gyan means equal to, in English, you can say, I am an individual notion. Main hoon na. You know, that's sort of an affirmation. Main hoon. You know, every thought I have and I act on that thought, I believe it to be true. There's no question of me examining it independently. That strengthens this jiva thought as a jiva notion. This is what is the seed of, not the seed, this is the sapling of, keeping me in the cycle, traveler mode. I remain in the traveler mode till I am ready to trace back. I separate the imposition on the I and see the I as in its source. And in its source, where is it? The Lakshana is, it is pure Anandam. It is pure existence. And it is pure Chit. Chit means knowledge. Knowledge means Swata Siddham. That Anubhav is Swata Siddham. We only have this much to say through Shastra Vidya. When I know I am existent, when we all claim Main Hoon, that claiming of Main Hoon is a self-verified knowledge. It has not come about because of something else, because of someone else telling me. But this is how far we go. When this Jiva Buddhi is, I'm going to call it as thickened, बहुत thick है हमारी, which in general terms people even call it as egoism, but I prefer not to use the word egoism because it has different layers of possible misinterpretations. To some extent it's a simultaneous word, but after that it has a limitation. Individual is good, वही ego है और उससे बहुत ज़्यादा भी है. Now that thickened layer, शास्त्र हमें कह तो सकता है कि you are आत्मा, you are Brahman, but it cannot be. Shastra will not have the absolute value if it does not show us the way how to know that I am this Atman and Brahman. समझ में तो आ गई बुद्धि में, चलो आपने समझा दिया कि ये गुण शरीर के हैं, शरीर के साथ जब शरीर हमारा भस्म होगा या दफनाएंगे या चील खाएगी या जो भी अंत उसका होना है, whatever be the process of the end of the body, understood, those dharmas will end with that body. Understood. Good. But that understanding is not making me know who I am. I have understood that these dharmas are not me, but I have not yet understood who I am. And as long as I do not know who I am, I continue to be acting with this upadhi. I have no other means of knowledge and I have no other means of survival, even survival. That's why Krishna said in the 3rd chapter, even for survival, you will have to depend on action. So Shastra is not saying all this is not right. व्यवस्थित है ये कि आप जीव भाव में, in your sense of individual, it is ordained, it is vyavasthit. Vyavasthit means it is programmed that you will identify with this. There is no choice. It is a default identification. And because of that identification, whatever be your upadhi gyan, you will act based upon that. And with this earnest desire for fulfillment and completeness, you will go on doing what is to be done. And that layer of samsara that it brings up in terms of limited responses that I get for my limited actions, that thickened jiva bhav is what Shastra must also tell me how to thin it. I'll repeat myself. शास्त्र would have been incomplete. इनफैक्ट उसको शास्त्र का हम दर्जा देते नहीं. Today, Shastra is the ultimate knowledge for us. It is a pramanik gyan because it gives me the knowledge of me who I cannot arrive at as a subject and the object of that topic. Shastra tells me by differentiating the object of me and the subject of me. This is the object of you, this is the subject of you. Shastra tells me, so it's a praman. But even when I understand all this, if I am still not able to understand who I am, then Shastra will have to also, not will have to, does also tell us how to get eligible to know that. What is it that is preventing me from knowing it? If all this is clear to me, it is actually a matter of a few months if somebody is discerning enough. Within a few months, all your thinking patterns can be traced back into whatever it is, wherever it establishes. If I have believed myself to have a whole lot of thought process that I am a good person, it is easy to make all the corrections to say, okay, that goodness belongs to the mind and it is a limited thing. Goodness is not absolute value. There is no certainty that I'll remain good forever. Where is it written that I'll be good forever? Or if I'm a bad person, who was the one who was a dacoit and wrote? Valmiki, sorry. If it was an absolute value that he is a dacoit, if it was an absolute value, would he have written Ramayana? And that Ramayana we read even now. We not only read, it develops that Shraddha in Bhagwan. Reading Ramayana, Valmiki's Ramayana, you develop a bhav for Ishvara, for Ram. And Ram is Ishvara. Later on, through maturity of the mind, we realize that Ram is Ishvara. Now, this process of knowing who you are, thinning that eligibility criteria. Third chapter is immense grace, Bhagwan's Anugraha. It is unbelievable when we sit outside of this classroom framework and we also interact with the world as the world is. They look like different dunya, because this is so clearly telling us what is the way to become eligible to finally be able to own up who you are versus affirming and asserting who I think I am. I hope this contrast is clear. I'll repeat this again. Shastra makes us clear about who I am. And third chapter was immense anugraha of Bhagwan. Tremendous. This Gyan is outstanding. Because when you see the contrast, without this knowledge, I have no other way but to go on just strengthening this belief of who I am, I think I am. I'll repeat this third time. If Bhagwan hadn't given us the process of eligibility, how to get eligible to know who I am, if that was also not given to us, and only this knowledge was given, this dharma belongs to the body, this what you think belongs to your mind, this what you think belongs to your buddhi, and none of this is you, this is not the truth, this is not real, this will, once the body dies, the dharma of the body dies. When the mind changes, the dharma of the mind changes. Your jignasa at some point will change. Delusions can take over. All this is not you. If who I am, and Shastra says you are Atman, you are Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta, Svabhavaha, you are Satchidananda. Honestly, I love that expression. I love to just say these words and then see my ignorance around it. Do we recognize the ignorance around that? I am Satchidanandam and I am Deepti. Where is the knowledge? Where will I place the knowledge? I am Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swabhavaha, and I am Sukhi, Dukhi. Where is my knowledge? Where is my identification? Where is my Gyan? Where do I say is my Gyan? Even in Dukh, we say, I know I am Dukhi. आप क्या जानो हमारे दुख को, आप क्या समझो हमारे दुख को, आपको क्या पता हमने कितनी स्ट्रगल की है, आप नहीं समझते कि हम कितने दुखी हैं. I'll also say the same to Krishna. Arjuna can also say the same to Krishna. आप नहीं समझते कि कितने दुखी है. Oh Krishna, supposing Arjun were to turn back and say, oh Krishna, you just don't understand what my struggles are. You are going on in the middle of the battlefield. You are just going on giving me a lecture on supposedly do my action in such a way. But here are my people. Here are the ones that I'm close to. And you are not showing me how to address that. And you are telling me you are Atma and fight the war based on your dharma. All blank. That eligibility comes through that how in my action through my action, that's my upadhi. Through this upadhi that I have to slowly begin to thin down, loosen this bhav of individual. And that loosening of the bhav will happen when my own something else has to take over. And that is Shastra puts in the bhav of Ishvara. How to grow that bhav, how to attach yourself to that bhav, how to unite yourself, how to hold that bhav, and that bhav. I don't know if there's a real parallel English term for bhav because feelings, emotions are not conveying devotion, maybe to some extent, but it's a pure bhav where buddhi and man are one. Bhav is the feeling and buddhi is bhav is the feeling and your buddhi knows it. Both. There is oneness, there is a synchronization of the buddhi and the feeling. I appreciate with my buddhi and my mind surrenders to that bhav. And that is what he says here through this. Eligibility is what is an eternal gyan. So Atma is eternal, Jiva is eternal. And this gyan, which is a praman to know who you are as a subject without making it an objective knowledge, knowing the subject as the subject, that knowledge is a pramanic gyan and the qualification for it, how to get eligible for that. That gyan is entirely, Bhagwan says, is a yoga parampara. It's a yoga, how to know yourself once again, how to own up who I am, how to know who I am. That knowing who I am, the entire unlayering, I would call it. हमने सब डाल दिया, बहुत कुछ डाला. As a long ago when we were young and I used to get this exciting ideas, इसको ऐसे कह सकते हैं, इसको वैसे कह सकते हैं, ज्ञान को ये, all those things that you have to have. So one of the exercises I used to say would really help someone would be, in a pot mix as many things as you can. And easy would be all your pulses, all anything, just put them all together. And when you put them all together in one pot, all the pulses, supposing, let's take all the pulses, the orange pulse, the yellow pulse, the white pulse, the red pulse, the black pulse, and all these grains, put them together in a big container. And now you say, since everything is inside, you say, okay, make rice. What will you do? That sifting process Since everything's together, there are many ways to separate it. What are the many ways? Okay, at least two ways we know. One way is you will separate just the rice part of it, and all the others will remain together. The yellow and the pink and the red and whatever there are, they'll all be together. What is the other way to do it? What will be the other way to do it?
Separate the dana.
Excellent. You will separate all of them. While I am at it, when I have to separate one, I might as well separate all of them. Place them in their categories. That placement of dharmas in their own relative categories, to where it belongs. That oneness that I have developed, and where should I place them back? So here now Bhagwan says that process of placing things back, ये जो ज्ञान मैंने तुम्हें थर्ड चैप्टर में दिया है अर्जुन, इनफैक्ट सेकंड और थर्ड में दिया है अर्जुन, that gyan that I have given you, knowledge that I have given you, is the eternal process as much as your sense of individuality is, as that avidya is, presupposing which you have a sense of individuality, as much as this Atman is eternal. Because you don't know it, avidya remains eternal, and because of which, eternal as in without a beginning, and it is not eternal, it can end, but without a beginning, and it continuously there. So much this method, it is a very subtle process of identifying which is a pink grain, which is a black grain, which is a white grain, when you cannot see these grains outside, but the grains are in your mind. When that khichdi is in the mind, when that mix up is in the mind, mix up is about my own self, then how do I separate them? And that separation process, he calls it as yoga. And he says that gyan is eternally there, and that glorification of that gyan is what he is now doing in the first 3 verses of chapter 4. I hope I have given the connection well enough for us to appreciate the continuity now of the 4th chapter. First 2 chapters means the second and the third chapter, Krishna has in a nutshell given the entire Vedic view of this knowledge of who we are and how to get eligible for it, and the sadhanas that is necessary for it. Shravanam, Mananam, Nitidhyasana is the Jnana sadhana. Karam Yog, Upasana Yog is in the realm of the eligibility sadhana, in the sense of purification sadhana, eligibility to gain sadhana chatushtayam, and then your sadhana of Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. Then comes Jnananishtha. The process is clean, is clear, there is no ambiguity, there is no confusion, there are no bylanes. It's a beautiful straight process. Shastra's drishti is it is a straight process in between, because of karma and upasana. Ishvara has got an adhyarop. Adhyarop means Shastra is introducing it to us in our life as the source of creation. It is the source of me. It is the source from where all this seems to have manifested outside, and me being a part, believing myself to be manifest now and will die later, a part of the world who believes herself to be that one. The source of all this is just one, that Ishwar from where the creation comes. He says it is that Ishwar who has also given the Gyan. Saha Yajna Praja Srishtva. Along with that Yajna, the Praja was, the creation has been created along with this knowledge of who you are and how to get eligible for it. And so now, in completing all that, Krishna feels, as I said, it was always, it is still till today. This parampara will not change probably. Because we accept that this knowledge is anadi, without a beginning. You know, it is traced straight back to the creator, to who is the originator. Terms you may call it in any bhasha. I am not personally interested in what you call him through. You call him Ishwar, you call him Ram, you call him Krishna.
राजी देखो यार.
Requesting the Zoom user to please mute herself. And I would also request everyone to please join on time. After some time, maybe in a few minutes, I can give a leeway. But after that, we won't give the leeway of admitting. You can always listen. If you've got late for some real reason, there is a alternative we already have. But class, you have to be on time. That's the tradition. You'll benefit, means we all benefit because of that. It is a part of learning. So Krishna says here now, completing the whole 2 chapters, ज्ञान दे दिया. आप कौन हो? What is chapter 2, 16th verse? नासतो विद्यते भाव ना भावो विद्यते सतः उभयोरपि दृष्टोन्तः त्वनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः. And then he said in 16th and the 18th verse of chapter 2, all that those verses where Atma was given from the portion of Atma is yaenam veti hantaram yashainam manyate hatam ubhautau na vijanitah nayam hanti na hanyate avinashi tu tadviddhi yena sarvamidam tatam vinasham avyayasyasya na kaschit kartum arhati antavanta ime dehaha nityasya uktaha sharirinah. That shariri is nitya. This deha has an ant. Anashinaha aprameyaha. That nityam shariri is anashi, has no death, and aprameya, cannot be known as an object. Tasmat, therefore, yutyasva bharata, therefore, you ought to at least get eligible in this lifetime to gain that knowledge. So, O Arjun, yudhyasva, etc. And then the rest of the details that had followed. Now in Chaturtha Adhyaya, because all this is given, 3 verses as I have been saying and I'm repeating myself, because we believe that this knowledge is anadi, we don't believe it. Unless and you give it that sthan of anadi gyan, ananta gyan, it is like a river flowing eternally. However many generations pass, they can all benefit from the same flowing river. This Gnana Parampara, this Vaidika Parampara, is actually a river flowing of knowledge. A river flowing means as Kal keeps moving, Kal means time of creation keeps moving ahead. Along with that Kal, Gyan also continues to remain available. That is called Anadi. So Krishna is now expressing completeness of the topic by glorifying the parampara. कि जो ज्ञान मैं तुम्हें दे रहा हूं अर्जुन, the knowledge that I have just given out to you, do not think that this is my opinion. I am the creator of, in the sense as I am giving you my bit of advice. Let's say it this way. You know how people give advices to us when we have some problems and we go ask someone. So then they say, oh no, but my thinking is this and your thinking is this. And that is how all the matas, we saw that verse also. Various matas, various opinions will be there. Krishna says, what I have told you, Arjun, is not one of the matas. It is not one of the opinions. This is the eternal knowledge, Anadi. and that will remain available to you. Available, that knowledge is what has been given. So the fourth chapter is titled Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Yoga again, Samachar. We all know by now that these are not the titles in the original Vyasa's Mahabharata, from where the Bhagavad Gita section comes from, the Bhishma Parva. It is not there as titles. This was a conversation between Krishna and Arjuna on the battleground, and therefore it's not compartmentalized like this. It was a flow, Yeah. Krishna, seeing Arjun's condition, Krishna said something to help him. Then Arjun asked him back. Krishna again replied. Then Arjun asks him back. Krishna again replies. That's the process in which Gita flows. But as a teaching parampara, to help students absorb the material, the compartment of the chapters is made. And how do we know that? Some time ago, some acharya must have first only put at the end. You know how we do at the end of every chapter? Om Tat Satati Srimad Bhagavad Gita Supanishadsu. This is the traditional way of saying, okay, now that portion is over. It will define the end of the chapter by separating the topic, giving like this. And then later on, some acharyas must have added that in the beginning. Now, what is the meaning of that? So, therefore, one interpretation of this yoga word is that don't overread this word. It just means this chapter is yoga here means topic. The chapter topic is Jnana Karma Sannyas. So uh, there'll be interpretation to say don't overread. In the title of the topic, just take yoga to mean topic of Jnana Karma Sannyas. Another set of people will say, no, yoga, take it as a literal meaning of yoga, which means the path, the way to reconnect to your own self. The path, the way, yuj dhatu. Yuj dhatu means to join. So, since yoga means to join, that's all it means. Yuj is a yoke. In English, you have yoke, yoke. It is actually a similar, I'm quite sure if you take the derivation, etymological derivation, it would come down to yuj only. That yuj means I get yoked back to my own being. How? The topic is again Jnana Karma Sannyas. Now, Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga, there are four words. Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. We see yoga. The first meaning, it's actually a samasapad. Samas means in Sanskrit grammar, means there are many words which are condensed to form one word, but when you break them, there'll be independent words. So, first word to be understood from here is karma sannyas. Karma sannyas means, sannyas we all know by now, means giving up. Chhod dena. Giving it up well. Give up well what? Karma. कर्मों को अच्छे से to be able to give them up. How do you give up karma? The whole learning of the third chapter is do your karma, do it with the right attitude, do it with the right understanding, as Ishwar Arpan, as Prasada Buddhi, offer it as Yagna. We just saw it. I'll keep repeating so that we keep revising it again and again. We have just seen all of that as karma to be done. To be able to free oneself from the need of doing karma is when you say is now I'm ready for karma sannyas, which means I'm eligible now for what? For shravanam, mananam, nididhyasam, to gain atma vidya. So karma sannyas, to give it up without eligibility, Krishna has told us, no, na karmana manarambhat, you will not get naishkarmyam, the state of sannyasa, by just merely giving up your actions. So you give up karma sannyas, do karma sannyas with the help of gyan. Gyan is your means. So through knowledge, Jnana sadhana, you can do karma tyag. That is going to be the whole topic, all the verses. How many verses? I think there are 42 verses also in this chapter. 43 in third chapter, 42 in the fourth chapter we'll have. And these topics, again, for clarity's sake, various acharyas have tried to break the 42 of the fourth chapter. Every chapter they have broken into some subheadings, that okay, these many verses are dealing with this topic. Next few verses, 5, 7, 10 verses is dealing with this topic, just to help us consolidate the knowledge better. So various acharyas break it up differently, but approximately topic cannot be changed. Topic is from the verses itself. So two verses here or there doesn't matter. But averagely speaking, the first topic is covered in, say, just the first three verses itself. Uh, Call it the Guru Shishya Parampara, call it the glory of the Parampara, give it any term, but it is talking about the Jnana Parampara, Guru Shishya Parampara, how it was handed down. What is that flow of knowledge? Ganga is devotion and Gyan both. ये ज्ञान की प्रवाह, the flow of knowledge from one to another, is mentioned in the three verses. And then we also have later on Arjun's question, which is the fourth verse, and fifth verse onwards is Avatara Rahasya. Avatara Rahasya, as in, it is actually the topic is Avatara. Krishna is telling himself, he's an avatar. That Avatara Gyan through the Gita we get, which otherwise in the Vedas you won't have. Avatara is the topic of the Puranas. But through these verses you get how Krishna says, when I give you this knowledge, I am not Mr. Krishna. We are going to see it in the Bhashyam also. I'm not Mr. Krishna born to Vasudeva and Devaki. I am Parameshwara, who is here giving you this Gyan. And that few details about that. So actually from 1 to 15, all these you can say is Guru Shishya Parampara and Avatara Rahasya. And then 16 to 24th verse is Jnana Yajna, Sadhana, Jnana Sadhana, pursuit of self-knowledge, more knowledge about pursuit of self-knowledge. Also, Jnana Karma Sannyas, the topic itself is Jnana Karma Sannyas, which is the central topic of the fourth chapter. And then 25th to 33 verse are various Jnana sadhanas, and those sadhanas are in the form of various yajnas to be done at the level of indriyas and mana. So various in Jnana yajnas, and what is their phalam, what is their benefit, which is eligibility in general. So Jnana sadhana and Jnana phalam from verse 25 to 33. And then the fourth topic is 34 to 42 verse, is where he says the doubt, sanshay, is an obstacle. Basically, doubting mind, that doubting is an obstacle against Shraddha, of course, and all those details we'll see as we move ahead. So this is the way the fourth chapter is structured by the acharyas, various acharyas in the lineage, to help us appreciate the total topic. And so with this, the first verse we will start. What's the time? The first verse we will start. Um, Let me start today, orient my mind, and then if someone can chant later. अथ चतुर्थोऽध्यायः ज्ञानकर्मसन्न्यासयोगः श्रीभगवानुवाच इमं विवस्वते योगं प्रोक्तवानहमव्ययम् विवस्वान्मनवे प्राह मनुरिक्ष्वाकवे ब्रवीत्. I'll just do this again. In your own self, start chanting also. Muted mic doesn't matter, but just chant for the tongue to open up the words. Shri Bhagavanuvacha imam vivasvate yogam proktavanaham avyayam vivasvan manave praha manurikshvakave bravit. Now, in the bhashyam of the introduction before the first verse, Shankara has given a very concise vision. This yoga, which is the knowledge, as I have just said, to help us know ourselves, was already covered in the 2 chapters that we have seen. Adhyaya Dvayena Uktaha. What is of the nature of that knowledge? Gnana Nishtha Lakshana Sa Sannyasa Karma Yoga Upaya. So, to gain that Gnana Nishtha, for which the means is sannyasa and for which the means is karma yoga. And we all need to remember sannyas, not just the lifestyle, that's wonderful if one can, but karma sannyas, which is now the topic. Once that topic is over, yasmin ved arthaha parisamaptaha. By giving this knowledge, ved arthaha, the import of the Vedas, the intended message of the Vedas, parisamaptaha, has got ended. And what was this Jnana Nishtha Lakshan and Karma Yoga? These are also called Pravritti Lakshan, Pravritti, going forward, being in action, being externally oriented, using the Upadhi and generating karmas or creativity, as we would call it. Pravritti Lakshan, initiating, sustaining, dissolving, destroying, then initiating at the Upadhi level. Pravritti Lakshan, going on in that cycle, as I said in the introduction. Traveler, going forward and forward and forward. You can't go backwards in time. So when along with time you go on forward and forward, that is Pravritti Lakshan. Along with, he said, the second is Nivritti Lakshan. When you are a traveler, you add things, right? You add things in your bag. For traveling, you need a few things. So you carry your travel accessories and things like that. And then when you change the destination, you may carry another set of accessories. This is called Pravritti Lakshan. So if you're going to some coastal area, you will carry one set of uh, things. And then if you're going to cold weather, minus 20, minus 30, you will carry another set of accessories. This is all changeable. So it is all Pravritti Lakshan. But when you are decided to station yourself at one place, I'm no longer traveling. Now what? Now whatever you have added, you are going to give it up. You will start discarding it. You don't need them now. That is Nivritti Lakshan. Nivritti means I am now withdrawing myself from this adding business, business, doing constantly. That sense of doership, I'm beginning to resolve. And nivritti means I'm not engaging too much into things that are oriented to bring results. Gyan has no result. What is the result of Gyan? Nishtha, Gyana Nishtha. What is the result of karma? Karma phal, limited. So, this pravritti and nivritti lakshan, First two chapters have dealt with this entire knowledge of Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga. Gita Sucha Sarvasu. This is the knowledge in the Gita and in all the Shastras. Ayam eva yogaha vivakshitaha bhagavata. By Bhagwan, that same Gyan, which is the central message of the Vedas, is here in the Gita also, has already been stated by Bhagwan, Bhagavata, by Bhagwan, Vivakshitaha, Keh diya, very clearly stated, has already been given out. Ataha, therefore, Parisamaptam, Vedartham, Manvanaha. Manvana means manke, when you presume, when you have understood. Manke is in Hindi much better to say. But when you know that Veda Artha, the message of the Vedas, has got completely given away. I've given it. I've completed. I've completed the topic that should be known. Bhagwan has given everything away. He's given all the knowledge. Parisamaptaha, well concluded. Samaptaha, ended. Parisamaptaha, without leaving anything out. Asheshaha. I think one of the acharyas uses the word asheshaha, without leaving anything out. He has given it completely in the first two chapters. In the second chapter, we said he has given it completely. And then he elaborated the eligibility in the third chapter. And with this, Bhagwan thinks, I have given the whole knowledge away. Therefore, now, tam vamsha kathanena stauti. Stauti means stuti karna, glorifying. This is a traditional process that whatever is vidhi, vidhi means what is to be done or what is to be known. Shastra does extra stuti of it. Stuti means glorifying it. To encourage the mind of the listener to start believing or to start accepting, to know that this is good. This is wonderful. Stuti means glorifying. So, whatever is vidhi means to be done or to be known, the tradition has, parampara has, that they do stuti of it. So Bhagwan stuti, after you do Parayanam, you'll have stuti of that. So stuti means it gives us an idea. It's a method of identifying that this portion is telling us this is the thing to be done. And it will always do nisheda ninda. The ninda means it will look down upon, it will criticize, it will not glorify whatever Vedas look upon as nishiddha. Nishiddha means not to be done or erroneous knowledge, wrong knowledge. So both these aspects are there in communication of the knowledge. So here now Bhagwan has believed, he has finished saying. So what is he doing? Vamsha Kathana. Vamsha means parampara. Parampara stuti. And what is that stuti? Imam. Okay. Uh, Let me try this. Um, I don't know how to do this online. Let's try. Okay, let's try. Let's try and see if it helps better than the previous. Verses are in a chandas. Chandas means it's in a meter. And there's a whole knowledge behind it why this is in a anushtup chandas. Four padas, and each pada has 16, 16, 16, 16, 16. Anushtup, 8. 8 and 8. So first line has 16 letters. So why it has so? But in Sanskrit, as a language, The prepositions are there with the words, so we don't need to have a prose order. So that is why sometimes understanding is a little more needs grammar to understand. But when you do the prose of the verse, it's called Anvaya. Anvaya means doing the prose of the word. What is the prose? Putting it into a sentence. What is this? This is a shlok. Shlok is chandabadh. Chandabadh means it has a meter. It is bound within a meter. And the beauty of Sanskrit is it is still complete. The message is knowledge is complete. It doesn't need anything else. Because in Sanskrit, the flexibility of the preposition is within the word. So through the word, you have the preposition. Whereas in English, you don't have that. You have a preposition separate from the word. So sentences have to be formed. But when you do the Anvaya, then the meaning comes clearer. And to do the Anvaya, normally you try and figure out a verb first. But I won't go into all that. We'll do this whenever, if ever, God wills it, Ishvara wills it, and our interest still lasts till then, and our health and life lasts till then, and the totality, collective karma lasts till then between us. We will do Sanskrit after Bhagavad Gita if God wills it. But therefore, I will not get into it. But Anvaya, I'll just state it so that it helps to understand the verse better. So if you want, you can write it. It's available majorly online also. You can counter check it. I don't have a copy. I do not know, but I think it's now everything's available anyway online. So I'm sure on looking for it, you'll get it. But since I say it, you can always counter check it if it's the right one. So in the first verse, I'll first say the words like I say, Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavan Aham Avyayam. This is how the verse is, shlok is. This is not still in Anvaya. Vivasvan Manave Praha Manuhu Ikshvakave Abravit. These are all the words in the shlok. Aham, here is Aham. Proktavan Aham. Aham, who's saying it? Bhagavan. Bhagavan is saying this word. Aham, I. Imam Avyayam. Imam means this. This Avyaya. Anybody can say the what does Avyaya mean? What is Avyaya? That's the two words. Avyaya. What is Vyaya?
Vishaya.
Lives forever. Who lives forever.
Vyaya. Avyaya is?
Lives forever.
Sorry?
Imperishable.
Imperishable.
Who lives forever.
Who lives what?
Forever. Forever.
Okay. Avyaya. So Vyaya means change, perishable. And Avyaya means imperishable. So Imam, this. Avyayam, imperishable. What? What is this referring to? What is Avyayam? Yogam. This yoga. Imperishable yoga. What about this imperishable yoga? Sentence is incomplete. He says, this imperishable yoga, what? Proktavan. I said. Proktavan is in the past tense. I said. To whom? किससे बात की आपने? किसको कहा? Vivasvate. I said it to Vivasvan. Vivasvan is sun god. Aditya. I gave this Avyaya, imperishable, eternal, as I just said in the beginning of the class. This imperishable yoga I gave to Vivaswan, to sun god. And then what? Vivaswan manave praha. Vivaswan manave, to Manu. So I gave it to Vivaswan, sun god. Sun god gave it to Praha, said to Manave, Manu. And then what? Manu who? Manu. Ikshvakave, Ikshvaku. Abravit gave it to Ikshvaku. Clear? Bhagwan says, I gave this eternal yoga. I gave this eternal yoga to Vivaswan, to sun god. Sun god gave it to Manu. Manu gave it to Ikshvaku, who is the first king of the solar dynasty. Now see how Bhagwan is connecting the Gyan to Arjun. Arjun is a Kshatriya. Ikshvaku is the first king of the solar dynasty. He is, if he is a king, he is a Raja, he is a Kshatriya. And having received the Gyan, he is also a Gyani like Janaka. So he is the first Raja Rishi who's Brahmin, in the sense has Gyan, and has Shakti in the sense of being a Kshatriya. So Bhagwan says, from the very beginning, who's Vivaswan? Aditya. And when did you give it to Aditya? Any one of us will ask Bhagwan, when did you give it to Aditya? Sargadav, when the creation started. When the creation started, and the very first manifestation of the Sthula Prakriti also, the grossest form of life manifested from subtle Hiranyagarbha, who is the deity of sun that you see. The sun orb that you see is the Golaka of the Surya Bhagwan, and that causal is Hiranyagarbha, who is the Samashti causal form. That Surya Bhagwan, he says, I gave it to sun. Why did you give it? Why have you given the knowledge part of this yoga to Aditya when you created the world? He says, Jagat Paripalayitrinam Kshatriyanam Bala Adhanaya. Adhanaya means to equip them with strength. Bala, power. Kshatriyas means those who protect have extra power. They gain the power, they have power. To endow them with more power, to give them the power for the sake of Jagat Paripala, for the sake of protection of the world. Because when they have the power, tenahi yoga balena, when they get that yoga bal, that knowledge, yuktaha, samarthaha, having gained the samarthyam means the eligibility, and what can be another word for samarthyam?
Smartness.
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 No, not smartness. Qualified capability. Capability is a better word. There can be even better word for samarthyam. It's like saying,
Skill.
huh?
Did skill?
Skill. Very good. Capability, skill. Much more closer, even more. See, so it's like saying, if I have to cook, if I have to feed my family, I have to cook. Ability, okay. I have to feed a family, I have to cook. What is the samarthya that I need for that? What capability do I need for that? What ability do I need for that? What are the abilities that I need if I have to feed my family?
Knowledge.
Ah, excellent. Knowledge and yogyata.
Cooking.
Very good. But in which way? Cooking. The very act of cooking. I need two samarthyam. I need the samarthyam of gyan. I need gyanabal. And I also need kriyabal, the samarthyam of actual action of cooking. So Bhagwan says here, when I made this jagat, this yoga, which he said in the third verse also, I'm giving you the homework. Look at the verse, which verse in the third chapter he said that, in the third chapter. I have given this gyan for the sake of the protection of this world. I have endowed these Raja Rishis with this capability, this gyan I have given to him, so that they can become Rakshak. सामर्थ्य है उनमें. कौन सा सामर्थ्य? ज्ञान का सामर्थ्य of what is dharma, what is not dharma. Because only then can they protect what is dharma. Only then will they protect the right, the righteous. Only then can they protect that which is to be protected, who are the right ones to be protected, the values to be protected, the righteousness to be protected. If anyone, because of adharma, is being unrighteous, that vivek shakti has to be there. That samarthya in vivek has to be there to know what is to be protected, what is dharma, and what is not dharma, what needs to be punished, or what needs to be destroyed or corrected. What that bala of gyan has to be there, and that shakti of samarthya of executing that gyan has to also be there for the sake of jagat paripala, for the sake of protection of the world, so that they get more empowered. Parirakshitum, in protecting. Brahma parirakshitum. That is the purpose. That is how Brahmaji is created the world, with endowing these parampara, gyan deke. Brahmaji gave this gyan. Krishna says, I gave it to Vivaswan, which means he gave it to, actually, in this, he only says Vivaswan. Mm. Okay. Same thing. Yeah. Nothing different. No, same. Parirakshitam, for the sake of. Um, Here, Brahma means Brahmin. Correct. Not Brahmaji. Brahmin. Jnana. It means Gyan. Am I clear? Should I repeat it? There are only two. Let me condense this. There are only two samarthyams for the sake of protection of the world. One samarthyam is in the form of knowledge that he gave to Brahmins as an order. They were to pursue the knowledge and transfer that knowledge in society. The second is in the form of action, rakshanam, capacity to do it. They were the Kshatriyas who were to protect the weakers and protect the weak from the strong adharmic forces. These two samarthyams were distributed in two classes of people, Pravritti Marg and Nivritti Marg. Nivritti Marg were the Brahmins and Pravritti Marg were the Kshatriyas. But then there were a set of people who have both the qualities, who are endowed with both Brahmin quality of knowledge and Kshatriya quality of protection. दोनों के लिए, those who are, these are those Raja Rishis. How is this Gyan Avyayam? Shankara says, Avyaya Phalatvat. It is imperishable. Yoga is imperishable. And Shankara says, this yoga gives the phal which is imperishable, fruit which is imperishable. And what is that imperishable fruit? Moksha. So through this yoga, you get the imperishable fruit. Nahi asya yogasya samyak darshana nishtha lakshanasya mokshakhyam phalam vyeti. Because that phal of moksha does not undergo change. Once you have this gyan of samyak darshan and nishtha of it, then that phal which is called moksha na vyeti does not change. So that knowledge was given to Vivaswan. Vivaswan gave it to Manu. Manu gave it to Ikshvaku. And who was Ikshvaku? Manu's swaputra. Manu's son. Manu's son is Ikshvaku. And to Ikshvaku, swaputraya, Adi Rajaya, the very first king, Abravit, he gave this knowledge. And I think we've covered a bit. Now, second verse he says, Evam parampara praptam. In this manner, first let me do the words. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayah viduhu saha kalena iha mahata yogah nashtah parantapa. Parantapa is name of Arjun. Hey Parantapa, O Parantapa, O Arjun. And Parantapa means, I think he says it here. I'll give you straight the meaning of the Bhashyam. Parantapa, Bhashyakar says, who is able to do Shatru Tapanaha iti. Parantapa means tapa, parantapa, जो शत्रु को तपाता है, शत्रु को scorches the enemy, if you translate it. Scorcher of the enemy. Parantapa means scorcher of the enemy. Bhashyakar is outstanding, we all know, but I have to, at such points, you just marvel at his level of clarity. How does he scorch the enemy? He says, how sun scorches everything. Bhanuhu eva tapayati. How the sun scorches in its heat. Everybody gets, troubled by the heat of the sun. In the same way, Arjun, by his Shaurya Tej, Shaurya is by his valor. The Tej of his valor, he's such a warrior. By his strength, by his courage here. And that Tej of his Tej.
Did you energy?
That is the word, but Tej is not energy. Shaurya Tej. Tej, energy is a compromised word, but his
Vibrance?
Vibrance is a better word. Yeah, that's a good word. The actual that whole vibrance of his courage. उसको देखते ही, some people's are so shining out in a quality that without them doing something also, in the presence of that person, you get a change in you. Resplendent in his courage, okay? But I'll go by that. Hmm, what did you just say? Um, Vibrance. By that, then that you get that message through without him doing anything. Arjun's quality as a warrior was such that in his presence, his enemies would tremble in front of him, shake, तप जाते थे, उसको देखते ही तप जाते थे. That is शौर्य तेज भी, तेज भस तिभिः. Tejo Gabasthibihi. Shaurya, and endowed with that vibrance of his courage, the enemies would tremble in him, in his presence. Therefore, he got the name Parantapa. In short, his name Parantapa is what Bhashyakara has first here explained. O Parantapa, O Arjun, Evam, in this manner. I'm sorry, we are above time. I'll just take 2 more minutes to finish it. I didn't register. Time's up. Evam, in this manner. Parampara praptam, handed down in parampara from the older through the younger generation. Imam. Imam refers to? What will Imam refer to?
This knowledge.
Very good. Yogam. Imam, yogam. This knowledge. Rajarshayo viduhu. The kings who were also Gyanis, they got to know. They know it. Viduhu, jante the. They knew. Those kings who were also rishis, means the combination of Brahmin and Kshatriyas, they were the ones who knew. This is also referring back to the 3rd chapter. You will see the verse there. But now Krishna says, and this is where the Avatara Rahasyas will start slowly. Sakalena iha. Okay, let me do the Anvaya again. Saha yogaha. That yoga. Kalena. In time. In the passage of time. By the passage of time. By the passage of time, Mahata Kalena. But the great passage means over a period of time. When did Aditya start? When the creation started. This Brahmaji's creation started. I was going through the notes that I shared of the Facebook page. You will have the whole time cycle there. That era then back. Over there, now where is Arjun and Krishna's samvad happening? At the end of Dwapar Yuga. So at the very beginning of Brahmaji's creation, he said, I gave it there. Kalena Mahata, huge gap now. Kalena, by the passage of this time, huge difference, huge fall of this change of the time. Yogaha Nashtaha. This yoga has been destroyed. This knowledge is destroyed. O Parantapa, because of the passage of time, gradually, this knowledge is lost. That knowledge which I gave to Aditya, and Aditya gave it to Manu, and Manu gave it to Ikshvaku. 4th hands it has gone. I gave it to Aditya. Aditya gave it to Manu. Manu gave it to Vivaswan, and Vivaswan further gave it to, and that handed down in Parampara has got lost in time. That knowledge which is lost in time, he says in the third verse, Saha eva ayam. That same knowledge, Saha yogaha eva ayam proktaha. That same knowledge, puratanaha, which was given then, ayam proktaha, here now given to you, said maya, by me. I have said this to you. That knowledge I have given to you. Why have I given? These details we'll see in the next class now. Oh, tomorrow's the next class. Why am I doing so much now? We could have done it next. Anyway, let me finish. Bhaktosi me sakha cheti. He says, I have given that same knowledge to you now. Why? Because bhaktaha sakhacha, me, mine. You are my bhaktaha and sakha. Therefore, you qualified yourself to receive this knowledge. So, rahasyam hi etat uttamam. This rahasyam uttamam, this great superior knowledge which is otherwise lost in time and therefore it has become a rahasyam. It's not easily accessible now. That parampara has got broken, which one to another were able to hand it as I gave it, without bringing changes into that, without giving subjective interpretations to it, accepting that this is Bhagwan Uvacha, and that Bhagwan Uvacha was given, handed down, but in time, that knowledge is lost. But that same knowledge I have now revived and given it to you, Arjun. And why to you? Because you are my Sakha and you are also my Bhakta. And a lot of details about these 3 verses, condensing it and consolidating it, we'll do it tomorrow. And that will complete the first topic, which will be Parampara, glory. Stauti, that is done. So that Stuti we will complete. I'll just conclude the class. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Kalena Varshatu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Kshoparahitah Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. One second, please, 1 minute. Forgetting how to do all this.
Hariom ji, thank you ji.
Auntie Hariom ji, thank you everyone.
Dhanyavad, Dipti ji.
Recording stopped.
Dhanyavad, dhanyavad. Yeah.
Dipti ji, another word for Tej could be brilliance or fire.
That's right. That is a good word also. Yes, the brilliance.